You're at a weekend market, celebrating your daughter's birthday, when suddenly, 6 women surround her, shaming her, calling her unchristian, and demanding she obey her grandmother. All of this because your late husband's mother decided to unleash her church friends on you and your girls. But here's the twist. This woman thought she could weaponize religion to destroy us. Instead, I used her own church to expose her darkest secrets, and she ended up shunned, humiliated, and completely alone. If you've ever wanted to see a manipulative, self-righteous hypocrite finally get what's coming to them, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and settle in. Because this is one of the most deliciously brutal revenge stories you'll ever hear. Setup, grief, betrayal, and family war. My daughters and I had been through hell. I'm 46, a single mom now. Their father, my ex-husband, died in an accident last year. But the truth? His death didn't leave us with peace. It left us drowning in betrayal. See, before he died, my girls discovered that he had been cheating on me. Not only cheating, but he had 2 children with his affair partner. And when both of them passed away, those poor boys were orphaned. Now, you'd think his parents, my ex-in-laws, would focus on grieving, on healing. But no. Instead, they turned their sights on us. They tried to take custody of my daughters. They tried to force themselves into our home. And when we resisted, they went for something lower. Public shame. The market ambush. It was my youngest's birthday. Instead of a party, I gave her money to buy whatever she wanted at the farmer's market, chocolate, sweets, little treats that brought her joy. For an hour, she wandered, free, smiling. But then my phone rang. Her voice cracked, trembling. "Mom, some people are cornering me." I ran. My oldest right beside me. And what I saw made my blood boil. 6 older women, church ladies, prim and polished, eyes full of judgment, had surrounded my child. My 15-year-old. They berated her, calling her unchristian for not spending time with her grandparents, for refusing to play good big sister to her father's affair children. The cruelty was suffocating. My girls had been traumatized by their father's betrayal, were already in therapy to heal. And these women, these strangers, were tearing open their wounds in public. I stepped in front of my daughter, voice steady, but shaking with rage. My eldest gathered her sister, paid for her treats, and went to the car. And I faced the pack. They sneered, accusing me of being a bad Christian wife for disobeying my in-laws. One even said I was leading my daughters into sin. The shouting grew so loud, market organizers kicked us out. And still, those women followed us, circling like vultures, their righteousness dripping like venom. The online smear campaign. That night, after tucking my girls into bed, I logged online. And there it was, the source. My ex-mother-in-law. She had posted a grand sob story in her church's Facebook group. According to her, I was heartless. My daughters were cruel. We had stolen money, left her and her husband penniless, abandoned the poor orphaned boys. She even twisted the truth of the affair, claiming the other woman had been our surrogate, and I'd rejected the babies because they were boys. It was a disgusting fiction. A fairy tale where she was the saintly matriarch and we were villains. And of course, the church rallied. Comments poured in, sympathy, prayers, and worst of all, soldiers willing to harass us. But my ex-Emile forgot one thing. That church, for all its flaws, for all its judgmental views, has one rule it enforces ruthlessly: no cheating. The turning point, gathering the ammo. And I had the receipts. Because when my ex died, our divorce wasn't finalized. Which meant all the evidence I had collected, every text, every photo, every email, was still in my hands. The next day, I walked into a print shop. I didn't just make copies. I made art. High-resolution photos of my ex kissing his affair partner in our living room. Text threads where his parents admitted they knew and supported him. Emails where they bullied my daughters, even calling them bastards and blaming them for their father's death. Each page printed crisp, damning. I even paid extra for quality. Then I spent hours at my dining table sliding those pages into binders. But not just any binders. One's designed to look exactly like the little hymn packets the church hands out every Sunday. And on the very first page, a photo of my ex and his mistress mid-make-out, with a title underneath, ex-husband's name and affair partner's name, a love story. The Revenge Church Service Massacre. Sunday morning, I walked into that church. My hands steady, heart racing. At the back table, where the hymnals sat for anyone who forgot theirs, I placed my binders. And I left. By the end of that service, the gossip mill had exploded. The Facebook group was flooded. The names my ex and his mistress were being called, let's just say the pastor had to step in and beg people to keep it Christian. The church that once pitted my in-laws turned viciously against them. Their lies were stripped bare. People weren't just angry about the cheating. They were furious about how my daughters had been treated. Parents read those messages, the ones where my ex-in-laws had bullied grieving teens. And the shame spread like wildfire. The outcome? My ex-in-laws, once respected, once shielded by their holier-than-thou image, were shunned. They left the church in disgrace. My ex-Emile ranted on her Facebook page about feeling alienated and forgotten by society. She cried that her great son would have cared for her if he were alive. But everyone knew the truth. Their saintly son had been a cheating liar, and they had been his enablers. They tried to destroy me, tried to shame my daughters. Instead, they lost everything that mattered to them, their standing, their reputation, their community. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge isn't loud. It isn't violent. It's truth, exposing hypocrisy for what it is. And in this case, truth spread like wildfire through a community that worshipped appearances. My daughters learned something important that day. No matter how loud liars scream, the truth has a way of silencing them. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And, of course, subscribe for more stories where justice, karma, and a little creativity take center stage.